I'm head of partnerships at RoEx. Company's been going now around 3 years. I've been with the company for a year, but what we do is we create intelligent audio tools for DIY music artists, producers, and the music industry. Um, we why we do it is we want to use our tools to help musicians boost their confidence with sharing their music with a wider audience. It's all about kind of helping people who are starting on their journey elevate their sound, or a bit into their journey elevate their sound and get a better sound through the tools that we've created. Just for kind of clarity's sake, in terms of kind of there's a lot of mistrust with AI music tools, but what we do is we create an assistive tool. So we sit alongside your kind of typical music creation process and assist rather than kind of click a button or write a prompt and then generate music off the back of that. So it's about kind of using our tools to kind of help you along with your kind of typical journey. And all our AI is trained by our employees, by doctors of audio engineering and audio generally. So we don't kind of train on any data, large sets of music data or data that's owned by rights holders. So yeah, that's kind of how we operate. Today, I'm going to talk through a number of our consumer-facing products. We've got two products that are available to the public, and we also have kind of an API and an SDK that allows us to kind of integrate our tools into existing services. We'll kind of illustrate kind of how we work, yeah, kind of across the board. So to date, our tools have helped enhance over 3 million audio recordings. We're kind of really proud of that as kind of across our tools that we've created and through other people's services that use our audio tools. So RoEx started with a kind of question by our founder, Dr. David Ronan, who he's worked in music a long time and he's kind of very good technically, but kind of saw this problem appear that people were finding multi-track mixing really hard to kind of understand and how to do properly. It's kind of, as you're becoming a musician, a music artist or a creator, it's kind of your role to learn these skills on top of the skills you need to learn to be a musician or a songwriter. And he wanted to do something that helped kind of automate that process and make it easier for people to kind of elevate their sound and to reach good sound in an easier way. So yes, it's a kind of complex problem to try and fix. So there's, as you can see from the screenshot, if you kind of the deeper you dig into music production, there's endless presets, endless pieces of software you need to buy. So we wanted to do something that kind of made things simplified it and made it easier for people to get good audio. And what was created on the other side was Auto Mix. So this is one of our consumer products. It allows music artists and creators to create a balanced and polished multi-track mix and master within minutes rather than days. We were the first AI mixing tool on the market, and there's a few other competitors in the space, but that's kind of our USP is automated multi-track mixing process. That's what we do. And like I mentioned previously, everything we do is based around kind of ethically trained models that are trained by our employees and our engineers. And it's really kind of simple to use, as we'll see in the demo shortly. And you don't need kind of any expensive equipment. It's worth saying as well that for people who want to kind of test out AutoMix or any of our tools, it's kind of free to use up until the point you need to kind of download, or up to the point you want to kind of unlock the kind of the bells and whistles features. And there's also ways to kind of take your work from AutoMix and put it back into the usual tools that you may use for music production to kind of take your sound to the next level. But yeah, so we're going to start a demo now. There's also like I've created a 50% off code today, for which Boroughs 50 for AutoMix, and there's the URL as well. I'll write it into the chat after the presentation, and try and do my demo. So this is AutoMix. So essentially, I'm a user that's signed in. Each one of these projects here relates to a track that I'm working on. Yeah, so each one of these is kind of a song that I'm working on. Obviously, I've done the work for us today, but usually when you're creating a new project, you would upload all the different instruments. So each one of these relates to a track I've recorded from a multi-track mixing project. So yeah, bass, I've got drums here, lead, SFX, rhythm, lead, synths. And once you've done that, all you need to do to kind of get going is to kind of select which instrument it is. That gives us kind of really good learnings to know what your sound needs to kind of sound like. So you kind of put in your instrument, drums, electric guitar, etc. And you also get some basic choices with effects, so reverb, and you can also put panning if you wish. Another important thing is you set your importance. So I'm the kind of guy that likes a lot of bass and a lot of drums, so I've kind of put them on the kind of full importance there, full presence. And once you've got that ready, all you simply do is create preview. I've naturally done that earlier, so we don't have to wait for that to load. That normally takes about a minute to do. And what we've got here is it's created a preview. So it's up to 1 minute 30 preview, so it gives you kind of a feel for the sound that the platform's created for your music. And here's an example of that. So I hope you can hear this. You can kind of toggle between that's what it sounds like unmixed, mixed. You won't get the proper feel for the sound, obviously, over a call with me playing it, but you can kind of get a sense for yourselves by checking it out. And all of this stage of the tool is free as well. What we have here as well is you can dig in deeper. So you might have kind of creative elements within your song or your track that you want to kind of amplify, or kind of things you want to customize. So in here, I've kind of customized my drums slightly. You can turn it up a bit. I want to turn that down. You can listen to that live, change the sound as you're doing it. Reverb off of mine as well. And that kind of saves your changes. So it allows you to add kind of creative elements back into your mix as well. So what the platform's doing here is it's kind of automating the multi-track mixing process in terms of mixing the tracks with gain, so kind of setting the volume for each track. It's using compression, reverb, panning to kind of give you a balanced sounding mix. So the idea for the platform is that you leave with a balanced track that's kind of ready for release. And yeah, that's kind of what we do. So once we're happy with that, we can just create our mix and it drops into the mix panel. One thing we're kind of really excited about is how we can use our technology to help people improve their skills themselves. And the mix report feature is a really good example of that. So here's kind of like a written breakdown of what we've done to each of our instruments, what we've done to your mix. So you can kind of dig into and you can learn from that and obviously take it back into your own processes off our platform and kind of help build up your knowledge base around what you need to do and improve yourself as a producer, as an engineer, and a musician as well. And there's various features in here as well, which are kind of cool. So we have a share functionality. I can share my track with my bandmates or record label or people that I want to share it with, my friends. And that's kind of like a private link that I can pass on to you guys. You can check out the in progress mix. And also we have kind of a few different things that are kind of really cool. So once you're in the place where you want to download, you can download your mix track, so your track in WAV, FLAC, or MP3. You can also download all of your stems, so the individual recordings that are processed. So with the kind of processing that we've done to that sound to give you final mix. And then also these are kind of really cool recent additions to our tools where you can download a project file for Ableton or Bitwig, PreSonus Studio One. So we've given you a balanced mix through the platform, and then you can take that to your usual place you do your work and kind of take that to the next level creatively. And what that does is that you open this up within your existing DAW, your existing workstation, and that sets all of the compression, the levels, the reverb, etc. for you. So you kind of have a balanced mix. So you're kind of not starting from zero, you're starting from kind of higher up the chain, and you've got your mix to work with. And the idea is it's like a time-saving tool as well. So it's not just get better sound, but it kind of helps you kind of get more done quickly. We also have a mastering tool built in as well. So kind of putting the final polish on your track. You can choose to master your track to finish it off for streaming services, or if you want it to be loud, if you want to play it out as a DJ or want it just to be as kind of loud and crisp as possible, then that's kind of option. But we also have a reference match. So if I have a track I like the sound of already in terms of mastering, I can drop that in here and it reference that with the master that I'm about to create. And those files will go in there. So that's kind of an overview of AutoMix, and there's different tools as part of the AutoMix suite that we have that fit into there as well. We have kind of like a cleanup tool as well, which cleans up audio that if you have a recording that you've done on your phone or in a room with other musicians and there's spill on the microphone, and we have that functionality and feature as part of that. But all of those tools are kind of available as kind of separate tools to our kind of commercial clients. So I want to kind of jump back into the presentation if I can find it. So our other product is MixCheck Studio. So what we found is that AutoMix as a product relies on music artists, musicians, producers to have these separate recorded stems or the separate instrument recordings for their music. We wanted to create a tool that was available to people who may only have like a stereo track, so your typical kind of WAV or MP3 of music that you've recorded, to help to make sure that we were able to help and improve audio for those creators that only had that at their disposal. And what we created was MixCheck Studio. So it's a tool that analyzes your audio and gives you feedback on that audio. So I put my track in and it gives me feedback and says, well, if there's any concerns with my mix or master, it gives you like a detailed report on that you can kind of learn from and then take that back to your workstation and help improve. So it's like an educational tool that helps you kind of move on and progress with your learning and your capabilities. That also has like I'll kind of dive into the demo shortly so you kind of get a proper look at it, but also has an enhance functionality as well. So this is like a paid feature. So the report it gives you the ability to go and fix the issues yourself. Then you can come back and see if you've improved it, see if your mix has improved through what the report says. The enhance is a functionality, a feature that enables you to kind of it enables us to fix your track for you by splitting your track into separate stems and then running that audio through a kind of an intelligent audio process and kind of fixing the issues with that. I'll kind of give you a brief demo of MixCheck Studio as well. So it's really simple. So all you do is just find your track. This is a track I wrote ages ago, so it definitely needs some improving. I need to kind of learn about what it is. You select if it's a mix or a master, so whether it's already been mastered and was previously ready for release, or whether it's just a mix that you've done. You can select from all of these genres. This is electronic, or if you don't feel the genre described, you can kind of choose your style for the track instead. And then once that gets going, that's kind of uploading your track and kind of starting the analysis process. I'll move over to this page. So here's the report for the track that I created earlier, and here's kind of the full breakdown that it gives you. So the mix doesn't actually look too bad. There's no things of real concern here, but it kind of gives you a detailed breakdown of the different elements within your track. And there's no clipping issues apparently with this track, no mono compatibility issues, and my tonal profile looks kind of good at the low end, so the kind of heavier bits, and the high end looks pretty good, but there's some concerns with kind of the mids of the song, so the middle part of the song in terms of the elements. And here's some suggested changes. So there's kind of detailed feedback that I can learn from, take back to my workstation and try and improve my sound. And yeah, the mix enhance tool I mentioned before, all you need to do is kind of click this button and then it enhances your track. You can kind of select from settings, but here's one I created earlier. Just try to move the bars over here. So here's an example. So here's before, and there's after as well. You get a chance to kind of test this out for free as well. But that's kind of made everything, given everything space in the mix, kind of everything that I mentioned before. Is kind of like did my bass heavy with that kind of muddied my sound. This has kind of brought everything out within my mix and made it sound a lot better. And if I'm happy with that, I can generate the full track and go from there. So yeah, that's kind of our tools. But on top of our consumer-facing tools, These are the codes. I'll kind of let you guys take a look at afterwards. On top of those consumer-facing tools, we also have our intelligent audio tools integrated into music services already. So you may have even seen them. So that's kind of the analysis feature. So the report it gives you when you upload your track, the multi-track mixing element, mastering, mix enhance. They're all available for people to plug into their existing platforms. We've created this API, which allows people to kind of build with our tools into their own services for free of charge, testing them, and then they only start paying us when their kind of clients are paying for them. And we've kind of, here's a big example from our work with one of the 5 biggest DIY music distributors, United Masters. Here, they've integrated our mastering tool, and yeah, it's kind of really smooth process. I'm just uploading my track here, and as I upload it and I'm typing in my details for my song, our mastering tool starts kicking in the background and improving the audio. So when the artist gets to that stage within the release process, it gives them a preview of the track and allows them to I'll just get to that bit, allows them to here you go, allows them to pay for that and release the mastered audio or the better sounding audio. Sorry. And here's a few of the names that we work with. Yes, we've been going for the last few years and building up a few partners in the space. We kind of like working with educational bodies as well. So using our tools for educational purposes is something that we're really kind of excited about and see scope for as well. But that is an overview of RoEx and our tools.
That's great. Thank you so much, Tom. There's a lot there. I was very interested. Before we open to the room for questions, because if you have any questions while Tom's here, it'd be great to get him. And we are approaching a break very soon. I thought I might kick us off with a couple of questions. What I was struck by in your demo, Tom, alongside Jess's, is the human. You know, we're talking about AI tools, but actually the amount that the human is involved. So you were talking about kind of like listening back to different mixes and making choices effectively. You're not just saying mix this and done, you're allowing it to be kind of heard back, refined. And I also like bass and drums, by the way. But I thought it was fantastic that you can then see an overview of the changes made by the tools to upskill yourself, you know, to really develop your skills. So when you go into your own applications, you might draw on some of those techniques. Really, really wonderful. Because we're kind of going into we talked a little bit about some ethical things with Jess, but you made me think about what is intelligence. So can I ask you a big question, Tom, before I
Yeah,
go to a particular question? So I've got 2 questions. One's a really particular technical question, like
stuff.
what might your software manage field recordings? So in my work as a music maker with young people in
Mhm.
messy spaces, where we might have classroom sounds or we might have outdoor noise, how might it process a field recording? I'm interested in that. That's my technical question. But my big question, because your product says it's about intelligent audio tools that boost DIY and music makers and producers, what is intelligence there? Where do you get your intelligence from? And can you talk us a bit about those kind of training models that you draw from?
Yeah, sure. Cool. Thank you very much. So, yeah, firstly, on the technical question, I'll try and answer as best as possible. But because I'm not from the technical team, I'm from the more partnerships team. So my skill set's more on the emails and conversation side of things, I guess. But yeah, in terms of improving field recordings, essentially we've created this tool that helps you input audio, and then on the other side, at the end of your process, you get to download better sounding audio. As part of our work, we kind of started in music because that's the background we're all from, and Dave, who started the company, is from. But we've now started looking at kind of how our tools can be integrated into content creation, film recording. So essentially, the basis of the tools is already there. But it's about how that applies to the different work processes that you might be going through on your side as the person creating that recording. So yeah, that's kind of something we've been thinking about a lot. And one way that could be improved is generally removing sound is like an important thing. So the first thing we're really looking at there is if you're recording something with one microphone, maybe in stereo, how you can improve that sound through like a tool like Mixtrack Studio, like I showed you before. So that's something we're already looking at. Outside of that, in terms of kind of how our tools work and how the AI operates. Again, I'm not the best placed in our company to answer that, but I'll try to do my best. So the way that our technology works is it uses information that you provide to it. So similar to Plinth as well, you're inputting data that is valuable to what happens at the next stage in the process. Ours uses genre. So genre is really important. Most genres have a kind of typical sound or based around a typical sound. So we've created all these different profiles, and our engineers have kind of worked to kind of make sure that when audio is inputted, the platform listens to that audio and then uses kind of the different profiles we've created to kind of help deliver the best sound on the other side. And that's essentially how it works from a kind of very top level, very top level kind of answer. I hope that kind of explains a bit around
Oh, that's
how
great.
we operate.
Thank you. I did have one more, but was there anybody in the room that has a question for Tom whilst we have Tom on the call here? Go on, JR.
How's it going, Tom? Thank you for the presentation. Um, this is for me, this is interesting. So I grew up making music. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not a big fan of
Yeah,
AI music. I feel like creativity should come from the soul. Like I get the bid writing, and the need for it there. Um, but I find, yeah, I feel like it's techie, but I know there's a lot of great musicians and artists, producers that are using it. But my question is, anyway, sorry, I digress. My question is, when you say it's ready for release, at what level would you say it could be released from like grassroots to mainstream?
yeah. So when we say ready for release, we mean in terms of the output is ready for like streaming services, so it's ready for format. In terms of when your song is ready, that's obviously completely up to you. And yeah, I know what you're saying in terms of kind of your point before your question as well, in terms of creativity. Like creativity is obviously the most important thing with music, and the whole topic of AI within music kind of puts a cloud over that. And that's why we, or definitely myself, within our company, are not fans of kind of platforms where you just press a button and it spits out a kind of track for you. We've always come from the angle of assisting you to get to the sound you want to try and achieve. And where we're kind of at currently is we give you a balance mix based on what you input into our platform or platforms. But the next stage is using our integrations with DAWs. So you download your balance mix, and then it gives you a kind of a shortcut to having a good sound. And that's your start point for your creativity. So you can get really digging deep to kind of creative mix. And that's kind of where we're trying to unearth more as we kind of go, is to kind of make sure that we're doing the boring bit of making it sound good and balanced, and then you as the artist or the producer is kind of bringing it to life and making it sound special and specific to the kind of music that's been written or created.